Audio is on. We are already on. Welcome everyone in our study today. Is Spiritism inspiring lives? May we always start harmonizing our minds, our hearts, bringing our attention in this ambient where we find ourselves as learners, as students, willing to learn a bit more about the message that helps us to bring hope, consolation, helps us to understand our life, our experiences from a different perspective, from a viewpoint from the immortality of the soul, from the theory of reincarnation, based on the natural laws in the universe, which are God's laws. So in that way, ourselves and all of those in the spirit who are also with us, may we start our meeting by expressing our gratitude. Our gratitude towards God, the creator of everything and everyone, for his immense love towards all of us. Our gratitude for our Master Jesus, the guide of humanity, helping every one of us to progress, to evolve, to freely choose to renew ourselves. Our gratitude for the enlightened spirits who are always with us, also inspiring us, encouraging us, for us to choose freely and spontaneously to use the time in order to promote us spiritually. We give thanks for this opportunity to be here once more, under the blessings of those dear friends, that we can together enlighten ourselves and also help to spread the good news. And with our hearts full of joy, we start our study. So be it. May everyone be welcome. Simara, we are here with our study in English today, Spiritism Inspiring Lives. And our theme today, which we will be reflecting about, is Do Not Ruin Your Day. As I mentioned, prayer in the reflections, it's important that our ideas or examples that we bring through the message here by Andrea Luiz. This message is by the Spirit Andrea Luiz in the book Christian Agenda. So we start with the reflections when Andrea Luiz started by saying, Andrea Luiz is a spirit. Your irritation will not solve any problems. Your contrarieties will not alter the nature of things. Your disappointments will not do the work that only time will achieve. Your bad humor will not modify life. Your pain will not stop the sun from shining tomorrow or over the good and the bad. So let's think about that. Severina, do you have any comment if you would like to start for us? If you can even go through each item. So perhaps we start with the first one.
Okay.
We still are a bit irritated on us, isn't it?
Yes. So the first one, your irritation will not solve any problems. Why is it important to remember this? That because often when we get irritated or upset, we become very emotional, and the emotions take over our logic. And often because of that, instead of focusing already of the solutions, we are actually distracting ourselves, you can say, and being just the more and more upset. So for example, I will say, let's say at work, we can be irritated with a colleague, for example, who is not doing the job properly. And because of that, instead of maybe focusing how can we overcome this issue, we will be irritated and start gossip, saying how annoying the person is, that is always doing the same thing. So irritation, it does not solve the problem. It actually takes us away from it, I think.
That's correct. Irritation, it doesn't help us, as you rightly said already. Yes, we still are all struggling in developing our emotional intelligence. Yes, we still are irritable. Yes, we still irritate ourselves sometimes in the experiences which are actually there to which we attract in order for us to help to learn to be more patient, learn to be more friendly, first with ourselves and secondly with others in relation to the situations which we are facing. Because irritation really will not solve our problems. Any problem means the problems are experiences that the universe presents us for us to learn to engage and interact in a different way with more wisdom. So really learning to be more calmer, we can use the breathing exercise to relax. Always bear in mind that we are immortal beings. We are here really to educate ourselves. That will also help us to change our belief systems, because when we are dealing with our irritation, we also are asked to observe our belief systems, which usually are very negative or very based on ego levels. So when we change that through the self-education process, consciously participating, that will also help us to reduce irritation and to work towards the solution of our experiences. And now if you focus on the next one, your contrarieties will not alter the nature of things. Would you like to comment, Severina?
Well, the next example I think regarding this is if, for example, we see something which we disagree. Let's say even racism, which is a big thing, and many people may see racism and disagree with somebody, treat the other person. The fact that we disagree at this specific moment, perhaps it will not change the nature of the things at this moment. Therefore, we need to think like, see the bigger picture, and perhaps if there's something you can complain about, if there's something you can raise awareness later, there's something you can do. So I think the message is saying that just the fact that you disagree with something, that's not going to change the thing. You need to do
Yes.
something about
We
it.
need always to observe what we think and feel, because contraries of racism, as you said, will not be sorted out by fighting against each other, blaming each other. No, not at all. Racism will end when each individual grows, matures, and develops more reasoning according to the natural laws in the universe, which is that we are all brothers and sisters. That we come back to carry on our evolution through different bodies, sometimes different colors, different size, different whatever. But we are not the bodies. So only we will tackle racism when we evolve with spiritual towards the universal fraternity, when we learn to become more solidarious, when we learn to forgive each other, when we learn to look beyond our skin color, for instance, or our temporary position where we may find ourselves. Because really what the major force that governs everyone and everything in the universe is love that comes from God. What is outside that, we still are invited to promote us. So if you carry on here, your bad humor will not modify life. Again, we are here. Andrea Louise is helping us a lot to observe our own emotional responses in relation to experiences that we may go through. When he says bad humor, again, we may be looking about our frustrations, our deceptions, or controlling issues, and so forth and so on. So when we learn to observe us, then we can also work on it. Learning to be more, let's say, light-hearted. Yes, we have challenging experiences. We are not saying that. But keeping the bad mood, being bitter with ourselves, being bitter with others will not change and will not help us, because we all need to go through the experiences which we need, which we attract in order to develop higher potentials, in order to become more virtuous, in order to become develop the higher faculties that we bring within. So it's not that the others are, we are attracting situations, people that sometimes are the mirrors of ourselves to help us to perceive us so that we can grow. And then the next one, Severina, your pain will not stop the sun from shining tomorrow over the good or the bad. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, what comes to my mind is this, that no matter what we're going through, no matter what we feel, lives carry on. The sun always comes up, the planet will still moving. So we need to adjust. we need to accept. My thoughts are telling me that this message is about acceptance and being aware that everything will carry on, evolve, and change in time, no matter how
Correct.
you feel.
Yes, correct. I would say the message to me, because it's different for all of us, but we can experience, I think, is a lot about reminding us the importance that it is for us to learn to be resilient in life. When we learn to be resilient, we will not get so much irritated. We will not fight against the contraries. We will not have that much disappointments, neither bad humor, neither pain, because we are more flexible. Resilience is the ability that whatever happened there, I manage internally through maturing myself to go back to the center and always work towards a solution of any situation and not get hooked in the negativity. And in
We
that
missed
way,
one.
this.
We missed one. I think, Ivanisi, we miss your disappointment will not do the work that only time will achieve, which
I
actually
missed that one. Yes,
answer,
sorry.
answer it says that I think example is if we disappointed that we didn't pass the exams or we didn't get the job. Um, this doesn't do us any good. We have to carry on with next time we study harder, we may pass the exams, we apply for more jobs, we get the job. So disappointment is not constructive and
Yes,
time could
we are, again,
help.
we would be hooked in the process instead of promoting us, as you rightly said. If I didn't pass the exam, okay, let's take responsibility. Let's study again. Let's put the effort in that perhaps I didn't put previously, and let's face it again, because we will repeat experiences in any areas of our evolution up to the point that we succeed in them. So really using the energy to complain, disappoint, and get depressed will not help us, but using it in terms of, as I mentioned, taking responsibility, which is autonomy, put more effort into and focus more and try again, and then we will really move on from that. So if you move on here now, then Andrea Louise's spirit carries on helping us. Your sadness will not illuminate pathways.
I like that one
Sadness,
very much. Yes,
okay, what
because
would you like to comment?
lots of people think that they are sad sometimes, and for me, it's very important to switch myself off of this feeling if I feel like that, because I know that this is only going to draw me more down. Definitely is not going to illuminate my pathway, so I need to distract myself with something good when I'm sad. That's what I do.
So when we are sad, it's important that we accept that we are sad. Sometimes it may be, but as long as we don't fall into the victim position, as we don't depress ourselves, and just acknowledge and see again what is the universe inviting us for us to learn in any situation. There is always something that we can learn, that we end up being better than we have been before. Your disencouragement will not edify anyone. So if I'm very negative, for instance, now we go through the pandemic in the world. If I'm always complaining, oh my God, the world is falling apart, people are so negative, things are not changing, well, that will not help to edify anyone. That will not help to console anyone. So again, I need to read it my own way, change my own lenses, which are dirty, so that I can see the same experience from a different perspective and understanding. The world is going through a changing process, merely saying we as spirits in evolution are invited to renew ourselves. So those who stay more stuck see everything very black and white. But those of us who already are opening our spiritual eyes, we see that is a great, great possibility for all of us, if we are willing to grow, to promote, and to move on from where we are. Because really, what goes on earth is our own responsibility through our feelings, through our emotions. We are all invited to learn to love more, to be more forgiving, to be more gentle towards each other, to be more fraternal, so that we create a psychosphere through our energy which is more healing, which is more loving, so that we eradicate or clean the psychosphere based on hate and revenge and slander and so on and so forth, that everyone can cooperate. If you cannot change the world, for sure we can change our internal world. And then André Luis goes on, your tears will not replace the sweat and effort which you ought to employ for the benefit for your own happiness. What is the Spirit André Luis trying to communicate to us?
This links with, to me, this links with the first message on this slide about your sadness will not illuminate your pathway. Your tears will not replace the sweat and effort which you need to apply. So to me, he's saying that we need to work hard and try to evolve, be aware, and that's what will make us happy. If we cry or if we get sad too much, it was not going to do us any good. That's what I understand from that message.
Okay, he's not saying that we cannot cry, because we still cry here and there, as long as we dry our tears and carry on putting effort into in terms of learning what we need to do. When he said sweat and effort will not replace, that means you are not on earth, Ivanisa, just to carry on crying, facing any challenge in which you are facing. Dry your tears and sweat. Sweat means work, put the efforts into work in renewing yourself and is staying in the situations, but renewing your state of mind within the situations, so that what was very challenging at the beginning within, then it ends up lighting up, because I'm changing my nature within. We have options always towards our solution. It's really a training or free will constantly, because free will is trained, responsibility we train, so that we can impose more our own progress on our evolution. It's not because a lot of people, for example, are in the gossip mood, in the slander mood in society. I will be vigilant and I will choose not to engage with that, because I already know the consequences of that. So if someone is slandering about me, perhaps I may cry here and there, but as more as we mature, we will not end up doing that anymore, because we understand the law of cause and effect. We understand that every individual is a spirit in evolution. Each one of us shows what we achieved so far. And even when that happens, we have the free will to always practice the characters of the good man or the good being, which is to develop our higher potentials of the soul. And when we engage with that, we go through without being affected, emotionally speaking. If we lose someone, we understand that no one belongs to us, that people are not our properties. We are with them temporarily together, learning together, but no one belongs to each other. And when it's God's wish, they will depart from earth, going back to earth, to the spiritual world, without dying. Only the physical body which will be left on earth. Then we move on to the other one. Carry on the same message. Do not ruin your day. Your complaints, even if affectionately construed, will never increase or the sympathy for you by once. What is he teaching us about complaints, Severina? Is there any point for us to carry on complaining?
No, this is again not constructive. Other complaints when it comes to correction and paying attention. Let's say at work, you may complain about something, but as a result, good changes will happen. In that case, that's okay. But I think what he's saying, that the fact that you complain that, let's say, you have a hard life or is very difficult for you, often do not increase the sympathy to other people.
I think what he is referring here, Severina, is in relation to the complaints about the victimization, the lamentation, the negativity that is toxic, that is never constructive, never ever, because we are talking about shadows here. When we complain, as I mentioned, we are in this toxic environment. And then, of course, sometimes we try to attract other people that they feel pity towards us. And some people can do that, because they are engaging with other people who also are in that level. But it's negative. Because when we perceive ourselves in relation to the immortality, we know that if you carry on here in this pattern, complaining, victimization, lamentation, and choose in this negativity, I'm the first one which will be dealing with the toxins that I'm elaborated through the way that I think and feel. Although I may have some people around who also are tuned into the same level, but that is not positive, is not constructive for me. And later on, I still need to do whatever I need to do. Those who are more evolved than I will not have sympathy for me, especially my spiritual benefactors, because they understand that I'm facing the situations which I attracted for myself, sometimes which I asked to go through even when I was in the spiritual world, in order to develop other faculties, other abilities from the self level onwards, so that I can move on, that I can lighten up my heart, that I can remind myself that I do have options. If I need to give a feedback to someone, it's different. Here, the complaints is completely based on shadows, the victimization. Then it's like a baby. We always go, it's like children. Mommy, he did that, he did that, he did that. As adult human beings, that does not fit in anymore. We learn to take responsibility. We learn to be more adult, more loving within. And then if we are in an environment where we need to give feedbacks as parents towards their children, which surely they need to do that several times, but it will not come back in this toxic way. If we need to give feedback in a work environment, we will do that if we are in that position, but not in this complaining, toxic way, in assertive way that will promote people, that will promote projects forward. Yeah.
So I've got a question. So, for example, I often work with people and colleagues, even mine, who complain almost every day that they're tired, that they overworked, that it is too much, that is too stressful. Is that coming from the shadows?
That comes from the ego. That's complaining. That's complaining, because imagine if everyone, the way that we can ask Sivirina, think like that. If everyone in the office, imagine there are 50 people there, 100, and everyone would say all the time this kind of thing. Is that healthy? Everyone is complaining about is overworking, is too tired, is whatever, whatever. If I have an issue work-wise, adult, assertive, taking responsibility, go and talk with my supervisor or whoever is the person that I need to refer to, and not intoxicate the environment where I am and contaminating other people because I want to have them on my side. That is a victim position that comes from my low self-esteem. So every time if I do have an issue, go and talk directly with the person that you are referring to, as I mentioned, supervisor or line manager or the HR or whoever it is, but not going around and spreading that. That will not help me to sort out. And in the end of the day, if I did that already and no one is listening to me and they don't want to change, I still responsible for my inner negativity. Take responsibility and find another job. That is, don't
Thank
try to
you.
change the company. Change yourself in relation to the company. That quite often you are promoting already. People are promoting already. Because the fact is that we need to come to terms and understand in any place where we are in a collective way, we are not between perfect human beings, starting with ourselves. And of course, there are companies and companies. Some companies, they are very harsh really with the workers. Therefore, if that doesn't suit me, don't get toxic because you will be dealing with the consequences. Take the responsibility and just try to find another job. Even sometimes changing career or whatever. There is always the different possibilities for us. And then we move on, to the last one, yeah? Do not ruin your day, the Spirit Andrea Luis says. Learn from divine wisdom to forgive endlessly. So constructing and reconstructing for the infinite good. So what do we take here with this summary? When he
That's not
says
easy, especially at work.
it's not easy.
It's easier said to done, but his golden words, uh, forgiving even people you, let's say, work with who annoys you and keep complaining, or you complaining about them, and endlessly, and trying to readjust yourself, as you said, is definitely positive. And if you
Yes,
don't do
it
that, you
is.
may ruin your life a day.
Yes, it's important to understand always for all of us, we are not here to change others. We are here to change ourselves. What can I do to change myself? And if I'm in an environment that other people are always complaining, how do I feel? How do I respond mentally and emotionally? Those are my aspects which, if they are negative, I can change. And having said that, it's not easy to change our thinking patterns because they have been conditioned for centuries sometimes. Even the spirit immortal helps us to enlighten our reasoning about that. But having said that, that is not easy does not mean that it's not possible. It's only saying that we need to put effort in. We need to be willing to nourish ourselves over and over again with the same constructive, positive thinking so that we create new belief systems, new patterns, that we condition ourselves over and over again to the point that we consolidate these values. But it is a constant exercise and practice. And in that way, we are coming to the end of our study today. So may we take those reflections or those points that the Spirit Andrea Luiz is presented to us in order not to ruin our day. In other words, to summarize these topics is let's observe our own shadows, our own limitations, our own imperfections, everything that we don't like in others. But ever we blame others, actually the cause lies within us. And also the solution lies within us as long as we are willing to actualize ourselves, to promote us, to change towards the virtuous elements that we bring the seeds within, expecting for us to stimulate them, and we can do that on a daily basis. So in that way, we are coming to the end, more refreshing our minds so that we feel more encouraged to practice goodness within and without us. And we are coming to the end of our study, giving thanks for these enlightened moments, helping us to renew our old concepts and changing them. Also helping us to observe in a loving way where we are emotionally and learning to take responsibility for that. And that way we are coming to the end of our study today, giving thanks to God for this unique moment, so that we may move forward in our existences with more hope, feeling always within the frame of consolation, because all the experiences which we attract are there to help us to evolve and also to learn with each other, learn with others, and even with their own shadows. When we see the shadows in others and we light our own, then we are moving on. So we're very grateful for these moments of enlightenment that encourages us, ourselves and all of those in the spirit who are with us, also to promote us and to invest, learning to be much more forgiving as we have been so far, much more fraternal, solidarious, and loving towards each other. Today, tomorrow, and always. So be it. Giving thanks for all of those who have been with us, hoping to be together next week once more, and for all of those who want to carry on with our study tonight in Portuguese at 8 p.m., please feel welcome. 8 p.m. Otherwise, I wish you well, much peace, hope to see you soon, and have a good rest. Bye-bye.